Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to another episode of my Swansea career on FIFA 14. With December, the most busiest time of the Premier League season looming, it was make or break for Swansea. The month of November will prove to be crucial towards Swansea's season if they want to be climbing up the league table and competing for that trophy. In the month of November, Swansea would be taking on the likes of Man City, Tottenham, and in the Champions League, they would be playing Schalke and Juventus. So halfway through the Champions League group stages, Swansea find themselves level on points with Juventus, Schalke and Copenhagen trailing behind big time. Swansea's next game in the Champions League group stage would be at home against Schalke. A win there in the fourth game of the group stage would see them in good contention of qualifying for the knockout stages of the Champions League, but that home fixture against Juventus was on the horizon. Last time out against Juventus, Swansea did very well, came away with a draw. Could they pick up a win against Juventus at home at the Liberty Stadium in South Wales? But first, it was time for the game against Schalke. Schalke, as you saw on the league table, they are trailing behind massively, so an action-packed evening was guaranteed at the Liberty Stadium. With all top players fully fit for both sides apart from Wilfried Bony of Swansea, who picked up an injury last month, it was going to be an all-out war for those crucial 3 points to add to the group stage. This game was also an opportunity for youngster Rabiot, who made his move from PSG to Swansea in the summer, to maybe get himself on that first team sheet as a regular. Swansea City started off well on the front foot, very attack-minded, pushing Schalke back, trying to seek out that first goal of the game. Now with Wilfried Bony out of action, Alexander Lacazette was the guy to replace him. Could he do a better job? Could he step up to this? Could he be creating those opportunities, running into space and making a nuisance of himself for the opposition's back four? One thing that did stay constant with Swansea was the amount of creativity. It was Jonjo Shelvey pulling the strings for the squad, seeking out those little pockets of space for players to run into. Now in the 37th minute, it was Danny Rose who was given that freedom to run down the left wing, just skipping past a couple of players here and there, crossed it in and found the head of Jonjo Shelvey. Not only was Shelvey pulling the strings for this game, but he also got himself on the score sheet, putting Swansea in good stead to maybe grab a couple more goals and go on to win this game and put them in good stead of going through to the next round of the Champions League. Jonjo Shelvey looked to get off to a good start for the second half for Swansea, looking for that back of the net, but the goalkeeper for Schalke denying him of just that. Schalke tried to push on, but it just wasn't good enough. Swansea managed to hold out. Youngster Rabiot had a great game against Schalke, holding that central midfield, and he certainly showed signs of a leader. So Swansea went on to win 1-0 against Schalke, grabbing those 3 points, so crucial for the Champions League. And it was on to the next game. It was on the weekend. It's Saturday afternoon. Swansea City against Manchester City at the Etihad. This Swansea side don't have a good record against Man City over the past couple of seasons now when it comes to the Premier League. Both games last season, Swansea lost, and it was exactly the same for the season previous to that. So it's a game that pretty much every Swansea fan dreads every time it comes round on the calendar. Maybe this time though, it was time for Swansea to set the record straight. Whatever happened in this game, Swansea couldn't allow their heads to drop. They had to keep that pace going. Early on in this game though, Swansea on the counter down that left wing, using the pace of Townsend to their advantage, who swung it across, seeking out the head of Wilfried Bony. Wilfried Bony did start this game fully fit, as he was left out that one against Schalke, returning from his injury. Another opportunity for Swansea. Townsend again just beating his man Michael Richards. Man City was certainly looking weak when it came to having to defend crosses from both the left and the right, and Swansea certainly weren't afraid to mix it up every now and then. Townsend and Kanyes linked up nicely there, and Townsend beat Chiellini, who made his move to City in the summer from Juventus. He went for that finesse shot, keeper with a good save, but it was Kolarov that put the ball into the back of his own net. Man City found themselves 1-0 down at home against Swansea. Swansea have already beaten the red part of Manchester. The question that remained in the balance was, could Swansea do it over City? Could they be the home slayers? And it was certainly looking that way, as it was John Joe Shelvey that got the second goal for Swansea. If it stayed like this fixture between Swansea and Man City certainly wouldn't be one for the fans to dread any longer. Wilfried Bony providing Shelvey with that little dink over the top of the back four for City, and Shelvey just with the volley. Sensational stuff, and Swansea looked to control this game, to maybe get a third from it and just absolutely annihilate City. Wilfried Bony looking a bit rusty after being out for a couple of weeks with a shot from his deadly right foot, but Mandanda for City managed to save that. But City on the 79th minute got a goal back. They were back in this. It was Negredo that made it 2-1. The question then was, does Swansea park the bus? Do they shut shop and leave it at 2-1, or do they continue to attack? But as soon as City scored that goal, it seemed as though both sides cancelled each other out, and that would be all she wrote for Manchester City. So Swansea come away with yet another win from Manchester by beating Man City 2-1 in a close affair. The month of November saw challenges that Swansea have never come up against before, having to play the likes of Man City and Tottenham and Juventus and Schalke. Some top games that would see exhaustion setting in. Rotation was necessary, but it wasn't welcome. Swansea need all their top players fully fit for every game, especially with December fast approaching, the most busiest time in the Premier League season. Now, with just 2 games remaining of the group stage in the Champions League, Swansea can take it a little bit easier. They have qualified for the knockout stages. So a win against Juventus wasn't really required, but Swansea wanted to go all the way. They want to come out on top and win the group instead of coming in second behind Juventus. They did well last time out. Why couldn't they do it at home? But it was Asamoah for Juventus that made it 1-0 within just 10 minutes gone of the game. Very unfortunate start for Swansea. It was a set piece. It was took short, the free kick, and it was Asamoah lingering outside the area. It was inexperience, a lack of concentration that cost Swansea that first goal. Asamoah taking the chance, and it paid off for him. The ball clipping the inside of the post and going in across the line. And things then went from bad to worse for Swansea. It was Vidal that saw the opening, could see Vucinic in bags of space. Once again, it was a lack of concentration from the back four of Swansea that cost them that second goal in this group stage game against Juventus. It was a nice easy finish for Vucinic, slotting the ball into the bottom right hand corner. Vorm unable to get to it. That was all she wrote for this game for Swansea. A 2-0 loss against Juventus. They only have one more game remaining in the Champions League group stage before they can advance through to the knockout stages of the Champions League. Before November could end, Swansea had to play one last Premier League game, and that would be against Tottenham at the Liberty Stadium. It's been a month of mixed results, and Swansea City look to end November on a high and keeping that momentum train going as they head into December. Whenever Swansea play Tottenham, that fixture always comes to mind. From my first season with Swansea, it was one of the first games of the season. Wilfried Zaha had moved to Swansea on loan from Manchester United, and he grabbed the winner for Swansea City right in the 89th minute. It was a great way to round off a great game. It's always a decent fixture whenever these two come together, but this time out, not so much. It was pretty dull from start to finish. Tottenham looked to get on the front foot first, with Asu Akata with that overlap, trying to work his way down that left wing, but he was just stopped in his tracks and was unable to get through. Soldado almost made it 1-0, hitting the outside of the post, and it went out for a goal kick. It was a weak shot. What else did he expect to happen? At the hour mark, it was Alexander Lacazette that looked to open up the scoring in this game, with a fantastic run, beating not one, not two, but 3 players. But it was an incredibly tight angle for him to get the ball past the goalkeeper. The game still stood at 0-0. Many chances being created. Players looking incredibly tired though as the game went on. with literally seconds to go of this game. Tottenham had a corner, and it was Borman that for some reason knocked the ball out for another corner. So the pressure was on for Swansea to defend this, and it was Benteke with a strong header directing it towards goal, and Borman thankfully pulled off a good save. A disappointing result, a dull game, some players lacking fitness after that tough fixture midweek against Juventus. So both Swansea and Tottenham will come away with a point from that game. And here is the league table as it stands. Every team has played a total of 15 games. Swansea City find themselves almost mid-table. They are 8th, just above Man City, a point below Arsenal. Some would say that Swansea would need a miracle if they were to win the Premier League trophy come the end of this season. They find themselves 10 points behind Chelsea. It's a lot of work to do and still a lot of games to go. And anything can happen in football. So anyway guys, I leave you all now with the squad report. I do hope that you've all enjoyed this episode. I also hope you guys are enjoying this format for career mode, doing the monthly review of all the top highlights, all the top games that have been played in November or October and so on. I know it's totally different to what you guys have come to expect from my career modes. So guys, leave me some feedback. Let me know what you think about this whole format of doing the monthly review on a FIFA career mode. It'll be interesting to hear what you think. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Hope you've all enjoyed, and I'll see you all very soon for the month of December.